Need motivation?
Watch Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Kick yourself forward.
I think comparing yourself to others is actually fantastic. I think most people aren't even doing it enough. The challenge is people do it incorrectly. The problem is people compare themselves to others as a way to kick themselves down. You look at somebody else who's done a lot more than you, and you say, wow, they're so much better than me. I can never do it. And that's kicking yourself down. What you need to do, you flip it and say, wow, that person has done so much. That's what's possible. I'm comparing my beginning to their middle or to their end, which is an unfair comparison. They can get there, therefore I can go chase my dreams down as well. That's a kick forward. Most people kick themselves down. What you need is to kick forward. But without the kick, you stay stuck. So if you want to stay exactly where you are, don't compare yourself to anybody. You want to move forward, compare yourself in a loving way forward. This is a classic story of Roger Bannister, who broke the 4-minute mile, where it was supposed to be impossible to break the 4-minute mile. Nobody was ever supposed to be able to do it. And then he did it. And everybody thought your body would break down and that it just would never, ever, ever happen. And then Roger Bannister did it. And then what happened? Lots of other people did it. High school kids did it. People around the world have done it. Why? Because they saw somebody else do it. When you can compare yourself to somebody else and see that they can do it, that can be the inspiration to move yourself forward. Again, the kick forward. If you just look at that and say, wow, he's superhuman, I can never do it, then you're right, you stay stuck. But some people, the people who go off and win, the people who also have a happier life, look at that and say, I can do something similar. And people did. I actually heard about that Roger Bannister story through Les Brown. And when people ask me, who is my favorite motivational speaker, or who do you think is the greatest speaker of all time? I say Les Brown. I don't know who touches Les Brown. I mean, there's so many great speakers, so many amazing people out there. I've had the good fortune of connecting with a lot of them. But man, Les Brown, when he gets on a tear, it's something different. He takes you to a different world. And I remember when I first heard him, it's like, holy cow, this guy is so good. And it was at the start of my career of filming videos and making content. And I thought, how does he know those scripts, and how does he memorize those lines, and how does he just speak for an hour and not need notes or a PowerPoint or anything else? Like, this man is crazy. It's impossible. I could never get that good. And I used to compare myself in a negative way. Like, I could never be Les Brown. And then somewhere along the line, I flipped it to say, hey, I'm getting better. And I love what Les is doing, because he's actually guiding the industry, because it's actually showing what's possible. That if he can do it, then I can do it too. He's actually paving the way for people like me to come up and be speakers as well. And I actually had the good fortune of last week being on a Facebook Live with him, where he was interviewing me about my story. Like, what? Les Brown is interviewing me about my story? This is crazy. How did this happen? Because I used him as an inspirational kick forward. See, if you never see anybody who's like you doing it, it's really, really hard to get up and do. If you're the only person that you know in your family, and the only person that you know in your community, and the only person that you see online anywhere trying to do the thing that you want to do, it's really, 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 really hard to stay motivated. But when you can see somebody else, when you can model success, when you can have an example to follow, I think that makes the path easier, because it gives you more hope, knowing that it's possible. The trick is, again, the key is, again, that in the comparison to somebody else, you're kicking yourself forward to say that's what's possible, not down to say, I suck.
Rule number 2, figure out your who.
Figure out your who. Your who is your single most important core value. I wrote 2 books talking about it, Your One Word and Built to Serve. I believe that everybody has a single most important core value. And when you figure out what that is, it gives you a roadmap for the rest of your life. So you can pick up either book to figure it out, or just ask yourself, what is my single most important core value? You have to pick right now. What was your single most important core value? More important than all the others, not your list of 13 core values. One, what is it? For me, it's belief. So everything I try to do is about belief. The videos I make, this video, the goal, the hope, the inspiration is to try to make you believe in yourself more. Maybe I accomplish that, maybe I don't, but it's always the intention going in. So when you figure out yours, whether it's belong or freedom or inspiration or motivation or happiness or care or love or believe or whatever it is, when you figure out what that is, one, it gives you good perspective on why you haven't been happy. Anytime I'm not happy, it's because there's a lack of belief in my life, either belief in myself and what I'm capable of, or I'm not spreading enough belief to others. Same thing for you. You figure out your who. Whenever you're not happy, it's because there's a lack of that in your life right now. And so if you want to hit the next step, it's by breaking through another barrier of your who. My next level of greatness is on the other side of even more belief in myself. I still lack belief in myself to get to the next step. And same thing for you. And so figuring out your most important core value gives you the area to work on. You know what you need more of in your life and gives you a roadmap of how to actually get there.
Rule number 3, stop over preparing.
As soon as you get an idea for something, just take action on it. We spend so much time in our heads overthinking, over planning, over analyzing, over researching, over preparing, and then nothing happens. Nothing gets created. Has that ever happened to you? You got this idea that you think is genius, and then you spend all this time over planning, over preparing, overthinking, and then you never actually make anything. And then maybe a year or two goes by and you see someone else get rich off of your idea. I'm still a recovering perfectionist myself, right? I lost a $40 million deal when I was 20 something because I was just trying to be too perfect. And so teach yourself to shortcut the brain out. You got an idea, you're going to do something about it. If the intention is positive, if the goal is to try to serve and to help other people, idea, action, idea, action, idea, action, do it.
Rule number 4, take action.
Have the courage to take action. So getting clarity is, a lot of people get stuck on this step. You get clarity over what you want. You know that you don't want to be stuck here anymore. Great. You're supplementing it and you're watching videos and you're listening to podcasts and you're going to events and you're meeting people. Great. Nothing still changes. Nothing still changes. It works. Until you actually do something. You have to have the courage to act. So the point of motivation isn't just to feel great. It's to give you the 5 seconds of courage to then go do the thing that you need to do. To go do the push-ups that you need to do, to then make the video that you need to make, to write the book that you need to write, to make the call that you need to make. The things that you're afraid to do that old you would never have done or badly wants to, now you're actually doing it. Now you're actually taking the steps. You can watch all these videos about running, but you don't actually get healthier until you run. Right? You will not get healthier by watching people run. You could say, my number one goal is I need to get healthier. I'm going to do that through running. Step number 2 is you're going to surround yourself with people who run, you're watching videos of people who run. Great. But nothing actually changes in your health until 3, you actually start to run. It's why it's so important that with all of these videos, I always say, what's your plan of action? What are you going to do? Because if you just watch the video, there's that 35% chance of you actually following through. If you just get motivated, you're probably not going to take the action. But when you create the action plan, you're way more likely to take the action. So the point of being around these people, of getting the motivation for that thing, is not just to feel rah, hey, I can do it, but it's to give you that 5 seconds of courage to then actually go take the action that you need to take.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, change your environment.
Start to change your environment. So the more you're around people who are loving, caring, ambitious, living the life that you want, doing the things that you want, having the relationships that you want, having the business that you want, are not sitting there stuck and complaining. That's complaining and blaming together. It's complaining. People aren't stuck in that mode. The more they pull you forward, the more it forces a more positive self-reflection So if you're around Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey and Marissa Peer and Tony Robbins and hopefully Evan Carmichael, the more you're around these people, the more you will start to think like them. The more the way they see the world will start to influence the way you start to see the world. And it forces that self-reflection, because the easiest way to change your viewpoint on something is to change your environment. The fastest way to learn Japanese is to go to Japan, because you're around it constantly. So if you want to be more loving, be around people who are more loving. You want more self-confidence for yourself, be around people who are more self-confident.
Rule number 6, be intentional.
What's the most important part of my morning routine? It's remembering the intention. How do I want today to go? Not just having a list of to-dos, but actually writing down how you want to feel and that message to yourself to give you the extra push that you need to move it forward. Come up with your intentions. Whether you want to do my method and the night before, write down your calendar and how you want to feel, or if it's just the first thing in the morning, you're looking at your calendar. That's what I used to do before writing it down. I just pull up my phone, load my calendar, and just see what was on my list for today, because I'd often forget, what am I doing today? I don't know, I just woke up, I'm tired. I look at my calendar, and then with each one, I would just mentally go through, instead of writing it, how do I want to show up for this person? If I'm making YouTube videos, how do I want to show up on camera? How do I want to show up for my audience? How do I want to show up for you? I would just mentally think about that as I go through the day. And I basically wake up, go to the bathroom, pull up my phone, and start going through my calendar. That's it. And how I want to feel, with the intention going through each individual item on my calendar. What I love about this is I find that I'm a little more courageous at night compared to in the morning. I just had a day, hopefully it was a good day, hopefully I served, I helped. It's often after I answer some questions on Instagram, so I'm in the service heart and mindset. And I think about, how do I want to show up tomorrow? If you find that you have more energy at night, or more clarity, or more boldness at night, then do that. Think about, how do you want to show up tomorrow? What are your tasks? Write them down. And with each one, just write down what the intention is. How do you want to show up as a human for each one? So not just a list of to-dos, but how you want to feel going into each one. Look, even as an example, every day at 2:30, I spend time with Nina. Okay? Every day, 2:30. We take a break from whatever I'm doing, spend time with Nina. We usually go outside for a walk with the dogs. If it's raining, we'll stay inside and do something together. Just a quick break in the middle of the day to spend time together. And that's in my calendar. And on my calendar, it says 2:30, half an hour break with Nina. But I wrote down, what's my intention, right? So not just time with Nina, I wrote down, have fun and make her feel loved. And I wrote something else down yesterday, but that's my intention for today. Have fun and make her feel loved. So last night I wrote that down. I'm looking at Nina. She's lying in bed. She's about to fall asleep. And I want to think, how do I want to show up for her tomorrow for our break? Have fun and make her feel loved. So I look at that again this morning. And I look at it again right now. And then here's what's going to happen at 2:30. 2:30, I'm going to be done filming my videos. I'm going to look at my calendar, look at my sheet here. Let's say 2:30, time with Nina. Have fun, make her feel loved. Just that reminder will make me show up differently. If your goal is to have fun, if your goal is to make somebody feel loved, you're going to show up slightly differently. I'm going to show up with more love, with more energy, maybe pulling some kind of joke, maybe picking her up and turning her in a circle, something. I'm going to show up slightly different because I reminded myself that it's not just a break. The intention is to have fun and make her feel loved. And so if you do that for all of the items on your calendar, for every meeting that you've got, for every quiet time that you've got, for every creative moment that you've got, how do you want to show up? If you can write it down, I love the night before, and then under each one, how do you want to show up? That prime, when you look at it, just before you go into the task, will help you show up as you'd like, as your most bold, courageous, proud self.
Rule number 7, get clear.
What is the life that you want? What are the goals that you have for yourself? Where do you want to be in your health, in your relationships, in your business, your finances? What do you actually want out of life? Not what somebody else's perfect life looks like. Right? You go on Instagram and you see people living on the beach and rolling around in money. Like that, maybe that's what you want, but maybe it's not what you want. Right? We get pulled into all these different directions because we don't have clarity over what we actually want. So what do you actually want? What do you want out of life? Where do you want your business to be? What kind of company do you want to run? What are the ethics and morals that your company is based off of? Who do you want to serve and how do you want to help them? How do you want to show up in your relationship? Who are you looking for in your partner? If you already have a partner, how do you want to show up better for them? All of the things that matter to you, to get as clear as possible so that when you see somebody else is doing something else and they're happy, great. You don't have to go do it because you're happy chasing down your goals. Part of the challenge is we see other people who are happy, and often it's not even real happiness. It's just, fake happiness for the camera. But you see somebody who looks happy, you know that you're not happy, and you think, well, maybe if I did that, then I'll be happy. Maybe if I go write a poem like they did, I'll be happy. And then you start to write a poem and realize I hate writing poems, right? So it's getting clear over what do you actually want in your life? Who's the person that you want to be? And again, from your finances to your business, to the relationships, to your to health, the different areas of your life. Get as clear as you can on the things that you want out of your life.
Rule number 8, take that risk.
The biggest risk is not taking a risk at all. I love it. So many people are so afraid to follow their dreams, to have this big idea that they have that they want to go off and accomplish. We have this big vision for ourselves, and we're so afraid of making the wrong decision that we do nothing. That you see this big goal and you have 3, 4, 5 potential paths and you have limited resources, limited time, limited money, limited abilities, and you want to say, I need to make the perfect decision. Because if I make the wrong one, it all falls apart. And as a result, we get paralyzed by fear and we do nothing. And that's the biggest risk of all. That's when you see somebody else making tons of money off your ideas. That's when you fast forward 10 years and you still haven't done anything. You're still in the exact same position that you are now. Meanwhile, lots of people have taken that idea that you had and are crushing it. And so the way to get over it is to recognize that as soon as you get an idea, you need to find some small way to test it. And that you don't have all the answers. And that's okay, and that you're going to figure it out along the way. Don't be naive like I was to think that you can create a business plan and it's going to be the perfect business plan. You're going to have all the answers figured out, and then you're just going to execute that business plan. Because as soon as you finish writing your business plan and you get out into the world and you start testing your assumptions, you'll find out that you made a lot of mistakes, that a lot of what you thought would happen didn't happen. You couldn't predict the future. You couldn't predict how customers would react. You can't come up with the perfect plan just sitting in your apartment, sitting on your couch, going to the library. You have to actually get out and start talking to customers, test your assumptions. That was my biggest problem in my first business. I spent 3 months working on the perfect business plan, and then when I got out to market, I realized a lot of what I thought was going to happen, a lot of what I thought what the reactions would be, is not what actually happened. And that set me behind. And so being attached to that perfect idea, understand that that doesn't exist. There is no perfect plan. There is no perfect idea. As soon as you get something in your head, as soon as you get an idea for something to do, then find some small way to get out and start testing it. Find some small way to get out and start seeing, are you getting yeses? Are you getting traction? Do you even enjoy this? A lot of times these big goals that we have for ourselves, when you get into it, you want to be a YouTuber, great. You start making videos, you're like, yeah, I don't really like that. Go figure that out as soon as possible. People wait years before they go out and try their first attempt at it, and then they realize, you know what, that wasn't for me. And so I strongly encourage you to, 1, as soon as you get an idea for something you want to test out, something that you think might work, find some immediate way to test it on a small scale. Don't take a big risk. Don't go mortgage your house. Don't go take out a giant loan. I hate spending money till I'm making money. Find some small way to get started.
Rule number 9, be aware of trigger words.
Figure out what your trigger words are. What are your trigger words? What are the things that you say to yourself that keep you small, that keep you scared, that keep you safe, that keep you from living your dreams? What are the trigger words that you use? So for me, it's scary, difficult, and hard. Whenever I say scary, difficult, or hard, those are the things that have become my trigger words, and now I have to go do the things because I said them, because I wrote them, I texted them, I said them, I thought them, right? When you figure out what your trigger words are, then whenever you say them, it's an indication of here I am again playing small. Here I am again telling myself that I can't do it. Here I am again accepting these reasons that I no longer want to accept. Being afraid is a classic one for a lot of people. Well, I didn't do it because I was afraid. And we've accepted You've accepted the fact that you're afraid as being a good enough reason for you not to do the thing that you want to do. And I would like to challenge that and say that's no longer a good enough reason. Nope, not anymore. Not for you, not for what you're capable of, not for where you want to go, not for the impact that you can have. Nope, not a good enough reason anymore. Let's go. So if you just sit and think about what are the trigger words that you say, what's the language that you use that keeps you small, scared, protected, that you no longer want to be good enough reasons, that you want to be free of, rid of, and that we're taking from our subconscious mind automatic patterns into our conscious, into no, I am going to make a change in my life. I no longer want to be this person. I need to evolve and grow and get better and be better because I'm capable, right? You. So when you figure out your trigger words and try to come up with them. It's a good exercise to do right now. What are the words that you tell yourself when you're scared, when you're afraid, when you've got big ideas, and you talk yourself down from them? What's the language you use? You can start by just taking on mine, scary, difficult, hard, or you can come up with your own. But the idea becomes anytime you see yourself using that language, it triggers you to then make a shift. To say, oh, okay, because I said that, because I said scary, difficult, or hard, now I'm going to do it. Just because I'm the kind of person who does scary, who does difficult, who loves hard. And when you can take those words that have previously disempowered you and flip them so that they become empowering for you, that's how you start to shift your identity forward. At the end of the day, the thing that matters is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. The language you use to talk about yourself, the messaging you have to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you're going to sleep, when there's nobody else around you. Because when you can build that self-belief, when you can build that self-love, when you can build that self-confidence, that self-esteem, that becomes the rocket fuel for you to build the great life for you, your family, the people around you, and create the impact that you know you're capable of having.
Rule number 10, the last one before our very special bonus clips, be better.
Have a routine that challenges you to be a better human. This is why I make these videos. Honestly, this Espresso series is supposed to be a morning series that we release 5 days a week to help you start your day with a shot of espresso, with some love, with some encouragement, with people who are doing more than you. You may never meet me. You may never meet John Astroff. You may never meet Bill Gates or Oprah Winfrey or Steve Jobs or the people that I profile on this channel. But you can learn. You can learn from them. I learn from them. I start my day being around them. And the more that you're around these people who are living the life that you want, that have the belief systems that you want, you will start to adopt those as your own as well, because the people around you probably aren't those people, right? How many of the people around you are the people that you look to and say, I want to be like that person. That person's got my life. That person has my ideal values. That person is living the life that I want to live. Probably not, right? And that's okay. You can inspire them to live a better life through your actions, but you need to get that push. And so the more you can create that environment around you to help you get it, the greater the chances of you actually going off and accomplishing it. Who's ahead of you in these things? One of the greatest lessons I've ever learned is that you can model success. That when you don't know what to do, somebody has done this before you. Somebody has figured this out. You don't have to come up with every genius idea yourself. This is the thing that ended up growing my business, my first company. When I wanted to quit on my business partner, I tried so many different things on my own, and they never seemed to work. But once I had a model, once I had a mentor, once I had a guide, once I had a path to follow, it became so much easier and I got success. Or looking at my YouTube channel, spending 5 years on my own trying to figure stuff out. Then once I got my agent who gave me some coaching on being better on camera, my channel started to take off, right? So without the model, I really struggled. With the model, I did really well. So for all the areas of your life that you want to fix, who's done it? And here's the key, there's no one person who's done everything. And I've got all these people behind me on the wall. You know, this is me here when I'm 8 or 9 years old, and my parents behind me. And then I've got different people on my wall for different things. If I look at being a good father, right? I've got a 12-year-old son. How do I be a great father? I want to be a great father like my dad is. And I don't want to be a great father like Steve Jobs is, because it didn't sound like he was a great dad. He had a lot of other great things. He was a great visionary, and I want to be a great visionary like Steve Jobs, but my father's not really a great visionary. So you're pulling different things from different people. one of the mistakes we make is you're looking for the perfect mentor to teach you everything. And when they have one flaw, we suddenly feel cheated or gypped or ripped off or deflated. Nobody's perfect. We're all in search of our own perfect life. And you'll be able to get that by pulling different people for different things. So once you've made your list of all the things that you want out of your life, then go find your different mentors and role models for those things. If you want more belief in your life, great. Watching my channel is probably going to really, really help you. If you want more fitness in your life, great. There's other channels you can subscribe to, right? If you want a better love and relationship, great. There's other channels you subscribe to for that, or books or podcasts that you can be around. That the more that you're around it, the more that it's part of your environment, you're going to start to take those messages in, and it's going to become a part of you. You're going to think the way those people think, and you're going to get closer to actually achieving those goals. If you want to change your life, change your outcomes, it starts with you changing your consistent morning routine. You have to figure out what the best morning routine looks like for you. And that can come from trying on different people's hats and their schedules, but you have to have something. Everybody has something. Nobody just wakes up and then hopes that amazing things happen. Not people who are successful. A lot of people wake up like that though. A lot of people do wake up. Most people wake up and hope something happens to them. Hopes they win the lottery. Hopes they get the promotion. Hopes some big customer calls them, right? We're just living in a land of, I hope something big happens to me, but I don't believe it's going to, as opposed to demanding excellence from yourself every day, and it begins with your morning routine. So how can you do it? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is figure out what makes you soar. So I said this is the most important part of my morning routine. What makes you come alive and soar? What makes you feel like the work that you do matters and you have to show up today? So for me, I have to think of a message every day. I think about you guys every day. I wake up, I'm here in my Toronto condo. It's hard to imagine that 300 million people have seen my videos. That number doesn't make any sense, right? And so it's easy just to wake up and just continue to live my life, me, my dogs, my wife, and my condo, and just another okay day, right? I have to remind myself that the work that I do matters. I think of a message and then I share it, and I take out my phone and I post something to Instagram typically, right? And that sets me up. That reminds me that what I do matters, is meaningful. I need to demand excellence from myself. What is it for you? Maybe it's creating a piece of content. Maybe it's making a video. Maybe it's watching a video. Maybe this is part of your morning routine, thank you, and it helps you soar, right? Maybe it's doing a good deed. Maybe it's meditation or prayer or walking the dog or playing in the sun, like whatever it is. What makes you come alive? You have felt it before. You have felt it before. You've had moments in your life where you were bold, confident, unstoppable, powerful, where you felt like you could take on the world, right? Where you felt like your crazy ideas were possible. You felt that before. I know you have. The problem is it's not consistent. You're not consistently feeling that way. And so you need to reverse engineer yourself. Before you worry about taking on other people's routines and ideas, which are definitely helpful, reverse engineer yourself to figure out when in your life did you feel the most bold, confident, powerful, alive, and what led to that happening? What led to that happening? And then put that into your morning routine. Demand it from yourself every day, right? So it could be reading, it could be watching video, all the things I talked about. It doesn't matter. You felt it before. Reverse engineer what that thing was and then put it into your morning routine, because if you woke up and you did the thing that made you soar, that made you feel bold, unstoppable, powerful, confident every single day, holy cow, get ready for a massive change in what your life looks like over the next year. Step number 2 is ask the high performance coach question. So again, I'm going through all of this stuff with Brendan. I'm going through all this, and my favorite question was the one I read. If I was a high performance coach, this is what you should ask every day. I like this. If I was a high performance coach looking at my life from a high level, I would tell myself to remember that. Because it's so easy, why I love this is it's so easy to look at other people's lives and say what needs to be fixed, right? You can look at your spouse, your friends, your team, your parents, your siblings, your high school mates, whatever. You can look at other people and say, that needs to be fixed. You gotta go off and do this, right? You become the high performance coach for other people. And what I love about this is that you're looking at your own life today as a high performance coach. What would you tell yourself? And then they have one at the end of the day. If I was my own high performance coach, I would tell myself this statement about today. So of all the things on here, it's a great format. I like that the best. And so I would challenge you for the next 30 days to ask yourself that simple question. If you were a high performance coach looking at your life from a high level, you would tell yourself to remember that what. And then step number 3 would be, which 3 people can you model their routine? So Brendan, he's got his, and I'm modeling this for at least 30 days. I've added, John Assaraf, a friend of the channel, been on a couple times, talks about writing down your goals every day and then touching them, right? So I'll write down some goals and then I write them every day now and I'm touching them, right? That's what he does. Great. Again, you got to see what's going to work for you. Maybe I do that for 30 days and stop. Maybe it's what I do for the rest of my life. I don't know. You won't know until you do it consistently enough. So pick 3 people who you like. Pick 3 people who you respect, who you look up to. Say, this is the kind of person that I want to learn from. And then go investigate how they start their day. And then try on some of it, right? You might love The Rock and he works out for 4 hours a day. You may not be able to do that, but you could work out for an hour a day, right? Because maybe you're doing nothing every day. So it's a good starting point. Like, just get to the gym and start working out every day, right? So pick 3 people who you love, look up to, respect, admire, and then go research what are their morning routines and how can you apply one thing from each of them to see if it works for you. Chasing down your dream is scary. Chances are nobody around you has done anything close to what you want to do, and they don't understand you. They think you're crazy. Well, you know what? Here's a news flash. You are crazy. And you need to embrace your crazy ideas right now, or you'll regret for the rest of your life that you never took action. So I'm a big believer that you need to trust your crazy ideas, that when an idea comes to you, you have to go off and do it. You have to teach yourself that you are a genius, therefore you come up with genius ideas and you need to birth them into existence. Because it came to you, therefore it's good. At least that's what I tell myself. And here's a quick example. I started a new channel last week featuring IG lives of different entrepreneurs. One of the things that frustrated me was that people, your heroes, people that I love, that I look up to, that you look up to, are going live on Instagram every day, and the lives disappear in 24 hours. It's just a function of Instagram. Is after 24 hours, the lives go away. Nobody can see them anymore. And I was frustrated for myself and for you, and that all of this great wisdom was being lost. But I was also frustrated for them, for the thought leaders, for the experts, for your heroes, that they're creating this amazing content to help people, and then it just goes away. And so I wanted to help protect their legacy, preserve their wisdom, and also have something for you guys to be able to go back to again and again and again, access to thought leaders and experts and heroes. And so I thought, what if I just started a channel with their IG lives? And I came up with the idea on a Friday, and then on Friday we launched. On Friday, I started with my own live, and we had a live of one other person, and I put them up, and we launched a channel, set up the email address, set up the banners, set up the channel art, set up the playlist, set up the rules, and then started training my team on how to do it. And so now we've got, I don't know how many videos, a bunch of videos that have been put up since we've launched a channel, and that needs to be the speed at which you start to move. That you get ideas and you don't sit on them. How many ideas have you had that you've been sitting on for weeks, for months, for years? When I travel and I meet different entrepreneurs, it saddens me so much to see so many people have had a dream for a decade plus and still haven't done anything with it. The biggest problem is you're just not acting on it. And so you have to protect your dream. You have to find a spot that makes you come alive, makes you believe that you can do it. But protecting your dream doesn't mean doing nothing on your dream, right? You have to act, even when the people around you don't understand you, think you're crazy, because again, you are nuts. It's amazing, and you have to embrace your crazy ideas.
As time has gone on, I've become less and less a fan of goal setting. And I love the idea of quarterly goals over annual goals, over decade-long goals, because the timeline is shorter. And why I'm less a fan of goal setting is because the more you're actually growing, the less likely you're actually able to predict where you're going to be. So I really hate 10-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals. If you think about where you were 5 years ago, think about who you were 5 years ago. 5 years ago, look at the calendar. 5 years ago from today, in the past, who were you? You think that person could predict where you would be 10 years ago? 10 years ago, I just started my YouTube channel. I had a couple videos up. 10 years ago, I said I'd never want to write a book. 10 years ago, I wouldn't imagine that I'd be here. I'd be here. And making videos for a YouTube channel with 300 million views in Puerto Rico because Brendan Burchard invited me to his mastermind group to speak on stage in front of all these successful entrepreneurs. I wouldn't have predicted that, like with zero accuracy. And same thing for you. 10 years ago, you had no idea that you'd be here. Not if you're growing. And this is the big caveat. Not if you're growing. Like if you can predict with accuracy where you're going to be in 10 years, you can hit it, but it's just way small compared to what you could have done. And it means that you haven't grown in the past decade. And so that's my main beef against goals. And having shorter goals, having numeric goals can be great. Can be great. Like I want to get 10 million subscribers on my main YouTube channel. That's a good goal. But if I set that as my 10-year goal and that's the only thing I'm going to do, then it's wrong because probably in 3 years I should jump off and go do something else, right? I've been fortunate that I've been doing YouTube for 10 years and I still love it. It's still amazing. But chances are your 10-year plans, you should jump off in year 2 and go do something else because that thing is actually better for you because you've grown as a person. So at least it's great, the advice that instead of annual goals, set it down to quarterly goals, because goals are still helpful. They're still good to kind of track your progress, to know that this video did better than that video, that this customer brought in more money than this customer, that are you doing enough actions to go and get the business that you want. Those are great. But as a macro thing that's leading your decisions, I think the longer you stretch it out,
making decisions, you want to do things that will serve other people. Serving others is hardwired into us. They did fMRI scans of the brain, and when you help other people, it hits the same part of your brain as food and sex. More than receiving, more than getting gifts, is helping others, serving others, being of use. You want to wake up every day and feel like the work you do matters, that you're having an impact. We all want to go off and have an impact. You are built to serve. And so already in your decision making, does it serve somebody else? Does it help other people in some way? If it's yes, you're making progress. In the book, I go through a 3-step process: who, why, how. So who, your one word, most important core value. What do you stand for? Who are you? You have one word that is more important than all the others. So belief is my most important core value. And so already the decisions that I make are through the lens of belief. This video is about belief. I hope it's my intention. I may not always execute on it as best as I can, but it's always my intention. And so if you understand what your one word is, then it allows you to make your decision-making process a lot cleaner, a lot simpler, a lot easier. Next is your why. Your purpose comes from your pain. Your why comes from your pain. The thing that you want to help and serve other people with, the problem that you want to solve, is the same problem that you went through. The people who you will love serving are the people who are currently struggling with the thing that you struggled with. Your purpose comes from your pain. And so whatever was the most painful moment in your life, the moment where you felt the lowest, the worst, the most worthless as a human being, your purpose for the rest of your life is to help other people who currently feel that way. So think about who you used to be, who you were 5 years ago, whenever you were struggling the most. There's lots of people who currently are like you used to be. You want to go serve them. And then the how becomes, how did you get through it? How did you get out of that problem? You may not even be fully out of the problem. Whatever you struggled and suffered with, you're not done. You're still growing, you're still learning, you're still improving. You're still climbing that staircase, of knowledge and growth. But every time you take a step up on the staircase, you can reach back and pull somebody else up. One more step, one more step. The more you learn and grow, the more you can pull people up with you. And so however you got out of the hole, even though you're not done, you're better than you used to be. There's lots of people who currently are who you used to be. And so however you got out becomes a recipe to teach other people as well.
Happiness comes from knowing who you are and then having the courage and confidence to step out onto that ledge. Step out onto the ledge, and go live it, and go be you. Because it's hard, because it's tough, because you're gonna get judged, because we're constantly comparing our version of happiness to somebody else. I'm here in Puerto Rico. Brendan Burchard invited me down to speak to his mastermind group. These people pay $30,000 to $50,000 a year to be a part of it, and I'm honored to be a guest. And the thing that I see consistently from all the people who are here, right? Imagine if you're dropping 30 to 50K to be here, how much are you making so that you want to come down, right? Everybody's doing the thing that makes them come alive. And that's a secret of entrepreneurship, at least the ones who are successful. That your version of happiness is going to look different than somebody else's. You're a weird duck. That's awesome. Go live it. Brendan came on stage and started talking about his daily routine. Brendan doesn't do anything work related typically until about 1 o'clock. He wakes up, he walks the beach, he meanders, he plays with his cat, he does all of these things that get him in the right mental framework, and his first call is 1 o'clock. So he said that I want you guys to try something. Tomorrow, go out and walk the beach, right? Go out and walk the beach. Try that first thing in the morning. He moved the start time. We're supposed to start at 9, he moved the start time to 10 o'clock because he wanted us to walk the beach just as an experiment to see. And I did it. I went out, I walked the beach, and it was good. But it's not the thing that brings me happiness, right? Living in a tropical paradise, it's not my thing. I like concrete. I like the concrete jungle. I like being steps away to everything. I like insane high-speed internet, you know. The things that make me happy are going to be different than Brendan Burchard, they're going to be different than you. It's just about figuring out what the heck is the thing that makes you happy. And then spending as much time as possible doing that thing.
If you want to be thinking 2 to 3 years ahead and still have success today, then you need to make sure that you have existing momentum right now. Entrepreneurs, we're dreamers. We love thinking about what we can make 2 to 3 years down the line. It's an easy place for us to live. The biggest problem isn't thinking 2 to 3 years ahead, it's right now. It's that you're lacking momentum right now in your business. You're a genius. The only thing you're missing is momentum. So me personally, I've actually tried to go and do the opposite of this advice most of the time. It's so easy to live 2 to 3 years out that I want to now focus on mission. What am I trying to accomplish? The big thing that's never going to happen, right? I want to solve the world's biggest problem. I don't think people believe in themselves enough, and that's what I wake up every day trying to help solve, but it will never happen. And then what am I doing right now? As opposed to getting lost in what I can do in 2 to 3 years, because again, I think it's so easy just to live there and then not bring it back to what am I doing today to build momentum. So I've really tried to teach myself that as soon as I get an idea for something, to start building momentum around it, not to get stuck in planning mode, right? It's easy to get stuck in planning mode. Here's where I want the plan to be in 2 to 3 years. You have to do. Jeff Bezos can think about where he wants to be in 2 to 3 years because he has an army of people doing work right now, building momentum on what's currently happening. If you're a solo entrepreneur and you're just living in the future and nothing's happening right now, you're never going to build that future. So as soon as you get an idea, at least for me, I've been trying to teach myself, I take immediate action towards it. It could be something really big. It could be something like when I wanted to build a house, I just decided I'm going to build a house, and then a year later I had my house built, right? From finding a dead property that was empty to excavating to building a 5,000 square foot modern home. Within a year, I had my home built from just having the concept and the idea, right? Teach yourself that as soon as you get an idea, you don't just sit, you don't just plan, you don't just tinker, you get out into the world and start doing.
I'm a big believer in altering your environment. I don't think that it has to be physical to start. So let me break down a couple ideas for you that I think will help. One, your physical surroundings of where you are right now, what's on your wall, what you watch, the YouTube videos that you consume, hopefully my channel, the books you read, all of that starts the process of changing what gets into your mindset. More important than the physical environment is this. It's what you're putting into here. And so you can start that from your home. You can start that from wherever you are. And I gain massive new belief in myself from the videos, from my own channel, from consuming the content from guys like Dan and Brendan Burchard and Tony Robbins and all these people every day in my head. It pulls me up. It makes me think bigger. It makes me feel like there's something more and injects myself with the belief. And so you can do that right now, immediately. Look at your habits. Look at your routine. Look at the people you talk to. Look at the podcasts you're listening to and the videos you're watching. And is it part of a daily practice? It needs to be a daily practice that you're putting that into here to help you start playing a bigger game.
A key reason why you are not in an amazing place right now is because you do not have amazing people around you. Think about it. How many of the people that you hang out with consistently make you feel amazing, force you to grow, and push you to be a better version of yourself? You can't do this alone. The people around you need to change so you can change. So I recently came back from a mastermind group in Puerto Rico with Brendan Bouchard and a bunch of super successful people. And one of the things that I loved the most was how he works with his friends. And there's so many people who say, don't work with friends, don't work with family. But he's built this group of people who love working together. Some have joined his team, some are business partners in different ventures where they're genuine friends, and they've been friends for, in some cases, over a decade. I love that model. I love working with people that I know, that I'm connected to. I love working with friends. I don't see it as business is one thing and personal is something else. Maybe that's just me. I would much rather work with somebody who I get along with than just have a business relationship. And that in particular made me think of my friend, Mark Drager. And Mark's got a marketing company called Phantom Media. We had a podcast together called the Something to Prove Podcast. If you want to go check it out. And I've known Mark for over a decade. And he sent me a message not too long ago saying that what I need in a marketing partner for my business isn't what he can provide yet. That he's still a little bit away, whether it's a year or 2 years or whatever it is, away from being able to help me with what I need, both from a experience point of view, a resource point of view, team point of view, that he wasn't ready to help me, and that he felt like he was holding me back. That if I had somebody else, then I would grow faster. And it never sat right with me until I went to Brendan's event. And then what came back was realizing I want to grow with Mark. I want to grow with my friends. I don't want to just be at the top and then have a bunch of business associates around me and then my friends are like way down here, right? I want to build it together. There's value for me in building it together beyond just a business ROI. And I think ultimately long term, it actually leads to a better business ROI. And I love that Brendan does it, and it provided a model for what is possible for me to be able to go off and create and build. And so whether it's Mark, whether it's Alex from Toronto Dance Salsa, whether it's Jeremy from the YouTube coaching business that we started together, I like being able to work with people who I can call friends. And I want to be able to do that more. And so whether you come on board and you bring on your friends or family, definitely being around people who push you, who make you feel energized, who build you up, who you could see for the next 20 years being people that you want to hang with, I think is really, 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 really important.
You are spending way too much time on things that you hate doing, that you never want to be great at, and it's hurting your business. I'm here in Puerto Rico. I'm speaking at an event with Brendan Bouchard, his mastermind group. And one of the things I've learned from people who've accomplished a lot, have had big success, is that you are great at something, right? You're the Michael Jordan of something. You have genius level talent at something. But you're not spending enough time doing it. You're spending too much time on the things that you hate, that you don't ever want to be great at, that you can respect and say, hey, this is important for my business, but it doesn't mean that you should be the one doing it. So I spoke at this event, and I'm talking to entrepreneurs, and they're thought leaders, and they want to have their YouTube channel. They want to build up their presence and brand name and recognition. And there's so many people who, when they get started, they spend 20 minutes recording a video and then 4 hours editing it. To put the right graphics on, to put the right intro and extra and music. Now, if you are in the graphics business, if you are an editor, then your stuff has to look amazing. But if you're not, then you're training the wrong skill. This is the thing. You're training the wrong skill. There's things in your business that you're spending so much time on that you never want to get great at. You're training the wrong skill. You should not be doing it. Discount it. It doesn't mean you get rid of it completely. It doesn't mean that you disrespect it completely. But if you're spending 20 minutes recording a video and 4 hours editing it, you're training the wrong skill. You need to switch it. You need to spend 4 hours recording it, 4 hours recording it, and 20 minutes editing it. Or 0 minutes editing it. I don't care. Because people who are watching your videos, if you're a thought leader, they're coming for this. They're coming for what's in your head. They're not coming for how great your editing skills are. Now, that doesn't mean you disrespect the editing. It doesn't mean you never hire an editor. It doesn't mean you learn zero. But the thing that will get you to be able to afford to hire an editor is making awesome content that comes from here, because no amount of editing is going to save it if your ideas suck. It's the thing that holds so many entrepreneurs back from making videos. If you don't want to make videos, if you don't want to be on YouTube, awesome, but there's something in your own business that you're taking that same equivalent to. So look at your calendar, look at where you're spending your time, look at how much time is actually being spent on things that are moving the business forward, that you love, that you could be the greatest in the world potentially at. Chances are that number is like 5%, and you need to move it. That needs to be 85%. That's when you start creating magic. And it's not going to be perfect. Releasing that video won't be perfect. You're going to look at it and say, man, that really sucks. I would love to have better lighting. I would love to have better sound. I would love to have better editing. I would love to have better gear. Great. Work towards it. But that can't be the reason why you don't post, and it can't be the reason why you're spending all this time doing work that you hate. You can only do so much by yourself. I love being an army of one, right? When you get an idea, you have to do something about it. You will it into existence. And if people don't want to help you, then you will it into existence being an army of one. But there's a lot of different ways to win. And you're going to win the hardest on the thing that you're the best at. And so you start. And so you start. And so you start. But you can't do everything. Not very well. So you pick the thing. This is the most important thing that will help give you leverage in your business, to help you turn from just kind of making a little bit of money, kind of making a little bit of momentum, to having massive momentum, to making way more. Leverage. Figure out the thing that when you do is fantastic. And everything else almost doesn't matter.
The greatest thing that you can do for yourself is be proud of your daily effort. It's not about how many likes or views or praise you get. That stuff doesn't actually matter. It'll hit you and make you feel great for a second, and then it fades. The only thing that matters is when you're all alone, looking at yourself back in the mirror. Are you proud of the person that you are looking at? And for too many people, it's no. And I want to change that in this video. So I recently came back from Brendan Burchard's mastermind in Puerto Rico with some super high level people. About 25 of us sat around a table and masterminded for 3 days. And a lot of people I've profiled here on this channel. And I normally hate these kinds of events that are open, that are loose, that require just networking and talking to people, right? If there's a structure or if you need help, I love it. And just spend the next hour and a half mingling and talking to people. I hate it. Even the thought of it right now is making me cringe. I hate it so much. But when I got there, Brendan challenged me to say, make sure you ask for help. Make sure you don't just give, but that you leave here asking for help. And so that's always been a challenge for me. Networking events plus asking for help. We're hitting like both things that I historically have sucked at and I struggle with. And so I decided I'm going to be proud of my effort today. I'm going to go off and do it. I'm not going to go home. I'm not going to go back to my hotel room, right? The hotel room was super close. On that 2-hour break, 90-minute break, 3-hour break, I could have gone back to my hotel room and done some work. I had lots of logical reasons why I should go back and do work. Everything is behind because I'm not working. But really it'd be an excuse because I'm afraid of staying there, because I'm afraid of not being in an structured environment, because I'm afraid of just talking to people, because I'm afraid to ask for help. And so I decided I'm gonna play full out. I'm gonna maximize this time I've got here. I'm taking this time off of work because I need to develop the relationships. I need to get the help that I need to get, and I'm gonna ask for it. I'm gonna be proud of my effort. Even if I fail, even if I suck, even if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna be proud of my effort. And it wasn't the most amazing result, right? It was awkward. I was standing around and trying to join people's conversations. It was super awkward and cringeworthy, but I was proud that I did it. I was proud that I tried. I can look at myself in the mirror and said, I did that. I tried my best. Pat on the back. I'm amazing. For other people who are there too, they're naturally extrovert. They don't understand what it is to be introvert, to be shy, to join in on conversations, to not ask for help, and how hard that can be. So for them, it was easy. to just start conversations and introduce themselves. For me, it was really difficult. But self-worth, self-love, self-pride comes from doing difficult things that you don't think you're capable of. And so I was really proud of my effort for doing it. And if you did the same thing, it's something I still try to do every day, to be proud of my effort. In making this video, I want to be proud of my effort, that I tried my best to make the best possible video yet. You may not achieve it, it may not happen, but if every day you woke up and you try to do the thing to make yourself proud, right? The effort, you're gonna create amazing, 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 amazing things. Where if you stay constrained by just what you know and what you're capable of and what you're good at, you never grow. You just stay inside your comfort zone forever and ultimately end up hating your life.
Working on your weaknesses is great advice in basketball, but sucks for entrepreneurship because there's no such thing as a complete player in entrepreneurship. There's too many things to learn. This is the difference between the finite game and the infinite game. If you're familiar with Simon Sinek's work, the finite game is when you're playing a game where there are certain rules. Basketball has certain rules, right? Basketball, Kobe's on the floor for a certain amount of time in every game. You can't just have somebody come in and come out. If you bring somebody in, Kobe's got to come out. You can only have 5 players on your team at a time. There's a certain number of minutes in a quarter, right? There's rules. For entrepreneurship, for life, there aren't as many rules. You get to play forever. In entrepreneurship, if you are the world's greatest jump shot shooter, right? Take that equivalent. You're a billionaire. You don't have to go learn the other things. And it's in your best interest not to. For you to be great at one thing, but then also go learn websites and also go learn coding and also go learn copywriting and also go learn speaking and also go learn video editing and also go... There's too many things. And you'll at best become average at all those things. So you're a complete average person. Entrepreneurship is the opposite. What you want to do is find a thing that you could be the Kobe Bryant of. You are the best in the world at something. You're the best in the world at something. Something in demand, something in need, something where you can help people. And then go all in on that. So it's got to be that combination of what you love doing with what there is demand for.
Finding your calling is easy. I think it's crazy that people don't know how to find their calling. I think it's among the most important questions that you need to figure out in life. Like, how are you living your life without knowing why you're here, what your calling is, how you're gonna serve, the message you have, the one impact that you wanna have. It's crazy. Like, you can't live a happy, fulfilled life until you know what that is. And it's not that difficult. And it just blows my mind, because when you figure it out, when Will Smith figures it out, when all these super insanely talented people figure it out, the world's gonna change. Can you imagine a world where everybody has found their calling and is living it? I want to live in that world. And so that's why I'm trying to create that world. You've got a great idea. You know it can change the world. You know it could have a big impact. You know it could change the fortunes of yourself, your family, the people around you. You've got a great idea. You know it can work. You know it can work. The problem is you don't know if it can work for you. You believe in the idea, but you don't believe in yourself. And so here's what's happened. Why? Well, it's because you've tried and stopped and started and stopped and started and stopped, and you maybe saw a little bit tiny results, but then you lose the motivation and you stop. You've never stayed with anything long enough to actually let it see results. And so you built up this pattern inside yourself that says, I can't do it. The idea is great, but I can't do it. That's really at the core. If you really believe that you could do it and you really believed in the idea, you'd be doing it and crushing it. So that's the biggest difference. That's why lack of belief is the world's biggest problem. The only thing you're missing is actual sustained momentum against your ideas. Because if you believe that you could do it, you'd be out there doing it. You believe in your idea and how it could change the world, but you don't believe in your own abilities to do it. I'm going to teach you a mindset hack that, if you can learn to apply, will help you eliminate your self-doubt, your fears, your insecurities, and step forward confidently into whatever situation you get yourself into. And it's this. You teach yourself that you can learn anything. You can learn anything. You may not have the answers right now. You may not know how to do the crazy thing that you want to do. You've got big goals, big dreams, big ambitions. You want to do something big. That's why you're watching this channel, right? You're part of Believe Nation. You want to do something big with your life. I love it. You don't know how to do it. You teach yourself, I
can learn anything. Because what we often struggle with is you want to do something, you know you can't do it yet, and then you associate with that, I suck. I can't do something, so I suck. And that attack on your self-worth, on your self-confidence, on your self-esteem prevents you from actually going off and creating something amazing, right? I think you're a genius. I think you have Michael Jordan level talent at something. I believe that. I don't just say it in videos. I believe that that's true. So whatever you're stuck on, instead of making yourself feel like you suck, that you're not good enough, that you're not capable of it, understand that it's just a skill set that's missing. The difference between where you're at right now and where you want to be is the skills that you acquire and then the action that you're taking. You're willing to take action. Problem is you probably don't have the skills yet to be where you want to be. That's okay. You tell yourself, I can learn anything. Learning becomes your superpower. Some people are built to serve the world. Some people want to have a giant mission, a giant vision. You want to impact the lives of millions of people. That's me. That may be you if you're watching this. That's most entrepreneurs, I think. You have a giant vision and you want to change the world. But some people are built to serve the 25 closest people to them. If I look at my wife, Nina, as an example, she doesn't have a giant mission. She doesn't have a giant vision, but she still wants to serve. If you're not happy in life, it's because you're not serving. You're not serving deeply enough to the people who you care most about, or you're not serving broadly enough to have a big enough impact on the people around you, your community, your country, your continent, the world, right? So entrepreneurs will default to, I think we want to serve the world. They did functional MRIs on the brain, functional MRIs, and they studied the impact of serving, of helping other people. And it showed that when you serve other people, when you get the satisfaction, you help somebody else out, it touches the same part of your brain as eating food and having sex, which are both also pretty important things in life. I think you would agree. And so you're built to serve. And they went deeper into the study and they found that giving triggers it more than receiving. So all of the stories that we know of how giving is great and Santa Claus and, you know, it's better to give than to receive and all this stuff, right? The things that we've been told in our stories that have been handed down to us is backed up by science. It's backed up by science. So if you're not happy right now, if you're a little bit low right now, the easiest path out is service. Serve, go help people. If you woke up every day and felt like the work that you did mattered to somebody, either to, again, the closest people to you, like my wife who's still in touch with her friends from kindergarten in China, to someone like me who wants to have a giant impact and reach 1 billion people around the world. If you're not happy, all you have to do is start to serve. The law of attraction definitely works. Most people just get it wrong. Most people only focus on the thinking part and not the most important part, which is the action, right? Law of attraction. It's the last 5 letters that matter. A-C-T-I-O. A-C-T-I-O-N. 6. The last 6 letters that matter. Action, action, action. Thinking about it alone is not enough. So it's the 2 parts. You get an idea. You want something into your life. You want to manifest something amazing. You want success in your business. You want a happy relationship. Awesome. You want to speak on giant stages. Whatever the thing is that you want in your life. Awesome. You have a vision board. Amazing. Just the fact that you're thinking about it and believing in it is already a big step ahead of where most people are. Most people live in a negative zone. Most people feel like their life is hopeless, that they can't make a change, that they're stuck where they are. And guess what happens? They stay exactly stuck where they are, right? What you focus on ends up becoming your reality. So yes, you're going to focus on your new goal, your new habit, the new thing that you want into your life. Amazing. You believe that it's possible. Amazing. You're putting up a vision board with it on your wall. Amazing. You're researching and watching videos like this every day. Amazing. That's great. That's the first starting point. But nothing happens until you take action. Nothing happens until you take action. Thinking alone is not enough. Again, it puts you ahead of most of the world, puts you way ahead of them, but you're still just going to be this super smart, super ambitious person sitting at home not achieving your goals. You have to do something. I look at my YouTube channel as an example. My main channel, I want to get to 10 million subscribers. That's my next goal, right? We hit 1, we hit 2, now I got to hit 10. At the rate that we're growing, it's not fast enough. Like, it's going to take me way too many years to make it happen. So I need to apply more pressure against it. So part of what I look at every day now in my morning routine is I want to hit my goal. I want to get 10 million subscribers on my YouTube channel, right? I want to be, one of the first.
thought leaders, experts, business person to have 10 million subscribers on a YouTube channel. It's my next goal. Great. Writing that down every day doesn't make sure that it's going to happen. What am I doing? Right? Writing it down can lead to thoughts that then lead to action. But what am I actually doing? Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing now. One of the biggest things I'm working on now, big new initiative for my team, is I've got 6,000 public videos on my main channel. And I told my team this week, I want to go back and update all of the thumbnails and all of the titles across all my videos. That's a lot of videos, right? That's 6,000 videos. Imagine doing split tests on all of those videos. I asked for 10 a day. And so 2 key people on my team are working together to come up with what the titles are going to be. And then the other one's doing the graphic design to create the thumbnails. Maybe it works the first time, but maybe it doesn't. And it's a big, ambitious project. If you think about it, we got 6,000 videos, 10 videos a day. You know, in a year, if we did it for 10 videos every day, we're just over half of those videos, assuming that they all work out, which they won't. So this is our test. And if it works, awesome. I might have that become somebody's full-time job so that we can do 20 split tests a day, 40 split tests a day, 100 split tests a day. I don't know. But it's happening through action, right? So it starts with the idea. If you have the idea, but you're not taking action, you won't get results. If you just have the action, but you have no idea, you're running around with a chicken with your head cut off. You're going in circles without any clear direction. Most people think too much and don't do enough. That's most people. Some people do too much and don't think enough. Some people need more planning. But in general, most people are over planners. And so watching this video alone is not enough. It's a great start. It might boost your motivation. It might give you an idea to go off and try. Watching my content, watching Dan Locke's content alone is not enough. It's the essential first piece of the ingredient. It's essential. Surrounding yourself with people who build you up, who make you believe, who give you ideas you can act on, that allow you to feel like your goals are possible, that your dreams are within reach, is super important. I do it every day. It's why I create all these channels. I think you should too. You'll notice a difference in how you think every single day if you are creating content and consuming content that builds you up. But then you still have to go take the second step. It's why after every video, I have a question of the day or I have a 3-point landing question, because I want you to take action. You need to teach yourself that after every video you watch, after every podcast you listen to, after every book that you read, that's not enough. You have to do something about it. I'd rather you watch fewer videos, read fewer books, listen to fewer podcasts, consume less if you're taking action on the ideas that come to you. Because most people are just professional consumers. And it's great that you're consuming educational content, because most people are just consuming stupid content, right? You hate your life, so you go watch Netflix all day when you get home for 5 hours and then go to sleep, right? You're a professional consumer, but you're consuming wasteful content, just entertaining content. So you've already taken a step above, right? You're consuming educational content. That's the next step. You're consuming educational content. Amazing. But still, that alone is not enough. What separates the people who go off and achieve their dreams from the ones who just have things on a vision board is that last step of taking action. So your head only understands a world that exists. Your head is logical. It's practical. And so whatever's been done can be done again, right? It's logical. And so if you've got a job at some company, you know you can make X thousands of dollars a year. That's safe, that's logical, that's practical. You know it can be done. It exists. Other people have done it too. You compound that with people telling you to do the safe thing, right? Go get a job, go take the safe path, go take the safe route. And so there's a lot of outside forces, especially fear generated, that keep you on a small path, keep you on the safe path. And it's not necessarily wrong. It's not malicious. They're not trying to hurt you. It's just fear-based, and so it's small. You never create amazing things when you're living in a fear-based state. And that's what you're doing when you make big decisions with your head. Because your head only understands a practical world that currently exists. Now your heart's a different story. Your heart can create something that's never existed before. Your heart is where all the artists live, all the game changers live, all the people who end up making massive change in the world. That's where they live. They're creating something new. They say, I see something that other people don't see, and I can go create it. That's heart. You're creating something that hasn't existed before. That doesn't make sense. That's not logical. That's not practical. There's nothing to tell you that this could work, but you feel that it can work. That's where I know you guys are at. If you're watching this channel, you're watching this video, that's where I know you're at.
The problem is living inside your head instead of living inside your heart. So what happens is you'll have some days where you're living in your heart. You'll have some days where you feel bold, motivated, excited, feeling like you're capable. Like maybe you could actually do this. You'll have some days. I'm gonna switch my hand. My hand's getting tired of holding the video. You'll have some days where you'll actually feel that way. Like maybe I could be the person. I am bold. Maybe you watch a video, maybe you just wake up and you get inspired. You had a great dream, something happens, and you have this moment where you just feel bold, powerful, unstoppable, and say, today's my day, I'm gonna go off and do it and crush it, right? We've all had those moments. But then you wake up the next day and you're back to being in your head, telling yourself, I can't do this, I didn't go to school for this, I don't have the money for this, I don't have the talent for this, I'm not good enough for this, I'm not brave enough or courageous enough for this, right? That's all your head talking to yourself. When you haven't fully decided on something big, what ends up happening is your head and your heart fight. So if you haven't fully decided that you want to start this business, that you want to hit your 10 million subscribers on YouTube, that you want to fill in a blank, your big, crazy, ambitious goal, when you haven't fully decided on it, your head and your heart are going to fight. They should fight. Because it's not logical, it's not safe, it's not practical. If it was, it wouldn't be a big idea. Your big, amazing, bold ideas are not logical, they're not practical, and they're not safe. And so your head is always gonna say, whoa, 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 slow down, this is scary. And most of the time you're gonna listen to your head, and the people around you will tell you listen to your head. What you need to do is fully decide. What you need to do is decide that this is going to happen, that it's not an option anymore, that there's no maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. Your heart has to decide the big decisions in your life. Should you go move to that other country or other city? Should you go marry that person or not? Should you go take that job or not? Should you go start that business or not? Big decisions with your heart. And then you use your head to help you figure out the how. Making decisions for your life based off of what other people expect you to do is the fastest way to hate your life. Most people actually hate their lives. Most people are not doing the thing that they could be great at, and they're judging you for you going off and chasing down your dream. Listening to them is the fastest way to crush your dreams and never achieve the Michael Jordan level greatness that you have inside you. You're a weird duck. This is one thing that I've learned from all of my travels, from all the entrepreneurs I've visited around the world. I'm a weird duck, and so are you. You're a weird duck. You like weird things. You're not normal. You don't want to be normal. You don't want to be normal. You do not want to be normal. And yet you judge yourself based off of what other people expect a normal person to do. And it's time to stop it. And I'm leaning into it more and more and more and more and more. And I hope I can give you permission to lean into it more and more and more as well. I'm here in beautiful Puerto Rico. We're taking a walk down the beach earlier today with my wife, Nina, and we're supposed to film. But the sound on the beach is crazy. Hopefully you can still hear it here. It's still got some wind, but on the water it's a crazy windy day, so we came back up to film. And as I was walking, I did a quick Instagram video of just my feet in the sand, and somebody DM'd me as a response to say, man, if I was there, I'd have a really hard time focusing on work. And I responded, I can't wait to get back to my room to go film. Like, this is beautiful, I love it, it's amazing, right? Like, what a scenery, I'm blessed to be here. Grateful that I can have the kind of business that allows me to travel and see these awesome places, but I love the work. I love working. I love making videos for you guys. I can't wait to plan, the next week, the next month, the next quarter for what I'm gonna be doing in my business. I love it. After I'm done filming, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go down on the beach. We're gonna go down there. See those chairs right there? We're gonna go down there. Nina's gonna work on her tan, probably pass out. That's the goal. She wants to try to sleep. I'm gonna be working. I'm gonna be looking at my YouTube stats. I'm gonna be planning my membership course. I'm gonna be looking at my YouTube growth bootcamp. I'm gonna be working on the book launch. I'm gonna be working, and I love it. I love it. And that's weird. That's not what most of these people want to do, right? That's not what these guys want to do. But most people come to a place like this to escape a life that they hate. They come to a place like this for a couple days or for a week to escape a life that they hate. They can run away. That's when I lie on the beach and forget my life. Forget that world exists and just escape. I think that's a huge mistake. There's nothing wrong. If you love the beach, you love the ocean, you love the weather, it's beautiful weather. Coming from Toronto, Canada, we're buried under snow right now, so this is beautiful weather. There's nothing wrong with that. But what's better is fixing your life. If you're looking forward to your next vacation, that's amazing because you're looking forward to it, but not because you're trying to run away from something. And that's what most people are doing. That's what most people are doing. They run away from a life that they hate. It's not the path. And these are the people whose opinions you're worried about. The people who wake up every day, go to a job that they hate, so that once a year they can come on a vacation like this, are telling you that you suck, that you're crazy, that you shouldn't be doing this crazy thing. They gave up on their dreams years ago. Don't let that infect you. And it's not that they suck and that you need to put them down, but you can't let that toxicity seep into yourself.
If you want to watch another top 10 rules of Evan Carmichael, check out the video next to me. I think you're going to enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
The 5-95 rule. 5% of your time thinking, planning, strategizing, and 95% of your time actually doing. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs get held up because